All right, so let's try and go ahead with this. Waiting for people to log in. Uh, okay. Uh, in the past, I've had trouble getting this thing going with because I was in a different town and the internet speed in the hotel was not adequate for streaming. So, welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host, and thank you for joining Conversations. Please let me know if you are able to hear me. Sohan, you're the first person to come. Hello, just tell me if you can hear me. And Javed Hassan from Kenya, very nice. Can one of you confirm that you're hearing that Indian Navy is also active from the Arab Sea? Is it true? Yes, so Sohan can hear. Good. So this is what I wanted to say, that it's no more about airstrikes anymore. It is no more about revenge for Pahalgam. We are in a war now. There have been so many escalations. If you count that what happened in Pahalgam as the first strike by Pakistan, then India struck back with Sindoor, and then Pakistan retaliated in many ways. We will talk about that. And then India launched drone attacks in which it destroyed, according to the Indian sources, one of Pakistan's Lahore's city's air defense systems. And now we hear news that Pakistan is currently in the process of targeting various cities in Kashmir. So we seem to see that there are constant attacks taking place. Yes, India has deployed all the three forces, Air Force and Army. So far, the military and briefings has hi Vivek. The briefings are coming only from Army and Air Force, the two ladies who are briefing with the Ministry of External Affairs in India. But the Navy, in fact, in the first attack itself in Sindoor, there were reports that the Indian Navy was already active. The Pakistani military has a very strong air force and a military which is very professional, but I don't think it has a navy that can match India. So we will talk about that subsequently. But right now, the main issues are that the countries are responding back and forth, and there is an escalation that is going on. So the two countries are climbing up the escalation ladder. That is very difficult. So for example, when India struck, India said that it targeted only what it calls as terrorist infrastructure, did not target civilians, did not target military targets, but only terrorist targets. So that was India's first thing. If Pakistan had stopped, then this would have been over. India would have claimed that they have done justice for what happened in Pahalgam. But Pakistan then retaliated in a very strong way, even though the Pakistanis say that we are still going to retaliate for Operation Sindoor. I was listening to some of their spokespeople, and they were saying that, oh, we have not yet retaliated. What we did so far was just defense. But what Pakistan actually did was violated the ceasefire and line of control, continued to fire, targeted civilians. According to some reports, nearly 16 civilians have died in Punj. So they have not only targeted broken the ceasefire, but the Pakistani military has done two things which Indian military claims it did not do the first time, which is that they targeted military targets all over, and then they targeted civilians too. Now that is something that is itself an escalation, even though Pakistan is saying it is just a retaliation. Thank you, Baloch. But still, so yes, thank you very much. Yes, this is a first super thanks for me. I'm still getting to try this. Last night I could not do the live show, because the hotel that I was staying in had really bad internet connection. This is my office, by the way, at the University of Delaware. So I'm between classes, but I mean, this is war. I'm very worried for because civilians are already being killed. And every time there is an escalation, according to the Indian sources, Pakistan attempted to attack 15 cities in India overnight, and it was repelled. And now the attacks have become primarily drones and missiles, and this is looking a lot like the Russia-Ukraine war. where you won't see a lot of, I mean, with the Russians, at least when they invaded, there was a lot of ground-to-ground military engagement, but so far it's all aerial. Even from the sea, the engagement probably will be use of missiles and drones being fired by the Indian Navy. So I think we are in a war, and I hate to use the cricket analogy at this time, but I said this in the beginning that what India did with Sindoor was was the right and sensible thing to do. It was non-escalatory. It was meeting the international demand to exercise restraint, and it was meeting the domestic demand for revenge for Pahalgam. But Pakistan's subsequent response, targeting civilians in Kashmir, shooting across line of control, and then sending drones to target various cities in India, is an escalatory target, and that will lead to war. No doubt about it, that's because India also responded, this time hitting military targets. So India went from hitting terrorist targets to hitting military targets, which is the city of Lahore's air defense system. So at least India is targeting now military targets. So we have definitely entered an escalatory ladder. And I was just listening to the Indian ambassador. He was on CNN talking to Wolf Blitzer. And even now, the Indian government is exercising restraint, and which is not good, because when asked, "Are you at war with Pakistan?" he said, "No, we are at war with terror." And I mean, that's semantics. You are at war with Pakistan. Pakistan is attacking India. You are attacking Pakistan. So I think it's time India acknowledged that this is a war, and India treats it as a war and mobilizes the force. I want to go back to the cricket analogy. A short war is like a T20 match. And in a T20 match, you drop a couple of catches, or you hit 3, 4 good sixes in a critical over, and a weak team can defeat a strong team. But India should see this as a test match, a long war. That is where India's strength is. But in a short engagement, Pakistan has some technological advantages in its air force, particularly given that it has a lot of latest Chinese jet fighters and Chinese missiles. It has recently received a stockpile of 100 PL-15Es, which are air-to-air combat missiles. So in a short war that could last, say, 4 or 5 days or a week, Pakistan can cause as much damage to India as India can cause Pakistan. But a sustained war that lasts for, say, a month or two, that will bankrupt Pakistan. India has a lot of foreign reserves at the moment. India's economy is strong. India can continue to buy more weapons. And so for India, it is, so that is the message that India needs to really send to. That's a good point, Mohsin, about New Zealand beating India. But the point is that a war that is fought over a few months, extensive months, it will definitely drain Pakistan's resources. India's economy is 10 times bigger than Pakistan's. So in that sense, the message that India needs to send now to Pakistan is that, look, we are going to prolong this, and we're going to keep going tit for tat, tit for tat. India is more sensitive than Pakistan to international criticism and international pressure. There is no doubt about it. Something happened today that I'm not very happy about, and that was that United States, Donald Trump announced a bilateral trade agreement with United Kingdom. If you notice, India was way ahead in this deal. India was the first to start a bilateral trade agreement. India did not respond to Donald Trump's tariffs. And Dr. Jaishankar on many occasions had said this. I also did a show that India would be the first country to get a bilateral trade agreement with the US. India did not get that today. UK got it. Yes, UK is much closer to the US, there are historical reasons, etc. But things like this put pressure on India, because India wants many things. India wants to be a global power. India wants to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council. India wants good trade relations with the US, much closer technology transfer, people-to-people transfer, lots of investments. So India is more susceptible to pressure from Pakistan, from international community, than Pakistan, because it has more to lose. So that is why India is still being very restrained. So But unfortunately, there are certain things going on. We have not yet fully resolved the issue of the Pakistani claim that they have shot down 5 Indian jets, 3 Rafale. uh, Even though there are more news-worthy discussion, like, for example, the disclosure that a French intelligence person associated with French intelligence spoke to CNN and confirmed that one of the Rafales was shot. There are also U.S. military sources also suggesting that Chinese jets, JC-10s, shot down one Rafale and another Indian plane, perhaps an Su-30. So the stock of Chengdu, the company that makes those Chinese fighter jets, have gone up by 20%. India now claims that it has shot down one F-16 and 2 JC-10s or 2 JC-17s. So India now also claims that it has shot down 3 Pakistani jet fighters. So there are a lot of these claims going on. There is no independent confirmation about any of these sources. It will eventually come out. But see, the reason why this is important to get the confirmation is because the countries know that. Indian Air Force will know if it lost 3 fighter jets or 2 fighter jets or 1 fighter jet, if one pilot ejected and was injured and is in the hospital. The Indian Air Force knows this, the Indian government knows this. For the Pakistani government, there is no confirmation unless they have very good intelligence on this. But as far as Pakistani jets are concerned, yes, the Pakistani Air Force will immediately know if it lost the jets, but the public does not know that. So what we now have is we have a kinetic war and we have an information war going on simultaneously, where Indians and Pakistanis are also spreading a lot of fake news. There was a deep fake video circulated by Indian sources which showed Pakistanis acknowledging that they had lost two J-17s, I think. So yes, there is also AI-supported information warfare going on between these two countries. So I think that unless there is an international intervention and pressure from either the United States or I'm not sure whether European Union, but either Russia, China, and the United States together put pressure on these two countries to stop, then they will de-escalate, because that way they can tell their own publics that we had to stop because of international pressure. Otherwise, this could get out of hand. And like I said, in the long run, India will do well, but in the short run, it's going to cause a lot of damage to both sides. Already, civilians have died on the India side. If you add Pahalgam and Poonch, it's now the civilian casualties have gone up above 40. Pakistanis are saying that about 30 people died in the first attack in Sindoor. I don't know. India is being very careful in its targeting. It's not targeting civilians. I disagree with the Pakistani propaganda. If India wanted to target citizens, look, India is all over Pakistan. India is hitting targets in Lahore, in Sargodha, in various parts of Pakistan. They've gone very deep, and they have the bomb in Pakhtunkhwa. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province also India has bombed. So India has gone in deep into Pakistan. India's drones are flying quite freely there. Yes, some have been shot down, but they've been shot down far deep into the Pakistani territory. So I think it's not in the interest of Pakistan, certainly, to continue with this war. And what India needs to do now is to essentially ascertain what the international repercussions are going to be. There is a lot of pressure on the Indian government also to punish Pakistan for terrorism. Enough is enough. What happened in Pahalgam is simply unacceptable. It not only killed civilians, but it also damaged the progress that Kashmir was making. The economic development in Kashmir is now going to probably be delayed by all the what happened to all the super tanks that were supposed to come? I don't see many. Anyway, so the progress in Kashmir has retarded. Maybe it'll be a while before tourists come back. And it has also created disharmony inside the country. There is a lot of acrimony, and so things are becoming very difficult. And look, Pakistan has less to lose. Okay, Pakistan is nearly bankrupt as a state. The only institution that in Pakistan that works is the military. And for the Pakistani military and the Pakistani government, a short war is advantageous because then all Pakistanis are going to forget about Imran Khan and they're going to align behind Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir. But for India, a lot is at stake. One of the goals that India has right now is to replace China as the world's factory, at least the world's pharmacy. So India needs foreign investments. The next 15 years are very critical for India. In the next 15 years, India can become a major world power and stay like that for, in my opinion, along with China for 200 to 300 years before anybody from Africa or the West rise again. Because the West is clearly on the decline, including the United States, my country at the moment, and India and China are on the rise. So it is very important for India not to have these prolonged wars which can stunt its economic development or prevent foreign investments from coming in. So yes, I think we should all be prepared for it. We are at war now, and I'm going to do a separate conversation on. I think it's time ordinary Muslims put pressure on their governments that terrorism has not helped Muslims anywhere. Whether it is in Israel, what happened on October 7 has resulted in the destruction of Gaza. What happened on 9/11 killed 3,000 Americans, but it resulted in the destruction of Afghanistan and Iraq and subsequently Syria and so on. The US response to 9/11 triggered a complete unraveling of several states. The Arab Spring failed. There was no democratization. And now this has brought the attacks on Pahalgam have brought about a war between the two countries. So so I think that there has to be in the Muslim world a serious discussion about this abuse of the concept of jihad and subtle support for these kind of acts. There should be zero tolerance for this kind of activities which target civilians. So now I'm going to see if there are any questions from you guys. Thank you, Beloch. What is your question? Let me see if I can go back up and find your question. Good. Where is your question? I can see your super thanks, but I can't see your question. Let's celebrate the first super. Karachi port has turned into rubble. See, I'm looking at you. Please ask your question again, but still, so I can answer it. I really apologize if I missed that question. Where will this end, Shreyas Patel? I hope that the United States really intervenes very strongly. And now that the US has a conversation with Putin, I think a joint statement by Donald Trump and Putin basically saying should stop this. And both countries can then walk away. Then it is a source of okay, both countries can claim honor has been preserved and they walk away from this. And I think India has done enough damage and shows enough capability that Pakistan will probably not allow terrorist activity out of its borders in the near future, at least. In the long term, of course, as lots of other people have pointed out, there has to be a solution acceptable to all, at least as long as there is unhappiness in Kashmir, these kind of things can potentially happen in the future. But at the moment, I think this India has done enough to send a message that terrorism is going to that there is a cost to supporting terrorism in India. Mohsin, you're saying lots of things. Pakistani aircraft will finish India in one day. Well, there's already 3 days. Nothing has really been finished, really. Yes, Vivek, you are right, because we are sometimes. I'm pro-India, no doubt about it, but I'm also critical sometimes of the Modi government, and that's probably the reason why they have banned my channel. I think my critique of the Indian intelligence agency. It has had serial failures. It failed. It got caught trying to kill Gurpat Wang Panno in the US. It got exposed in Canada, Australia, and Germany. It missed what happened in Bangladesh. India had no idea that there was a regime change taking over in Bangladesh. The intelligence failure with regards to terrorists attacking in Pahalgam, these are all terrorist failures. And in India, there is no accountability. Nobody loses their jobs or anything like that. So that was the last video that I made before my Indian channel was banned. But Alhamdulillah, I have a new channel up and running, and people are subscribing to it fast. You guys should also do it. If you are in India, it's the same name, Khanversation, but Khanversations 2025. I will take one or two more questions. Yes, Ankit, we don't think that we have an international policeman anymore. The US doesn't, at least under Donald Trump, it does not want to behave in a way in which it can protect and maintain the global order. And it has weakened the international law as well as international institutions like the UN and UN Security Council, the US. In order to protect Israel, primarily, it has done all of these things. And now we don't have that strong institutions going there. And how to tackle misinformation during fog of war? That is a big question. Shreyas, that misinformation, especially in this day and age where AI plays such a huge role, plus deep fakes, you are able to generate videos with people, their voices, their faces. So I think there's also an opportunity for entrepreneurs in the tech. If you can develop AIs for fact checking, when AIs can detect other AIs, there's an opportunity for somebody to come up with a sophisticated AI tool that will, in real time, identify deep fakes and expose them. And the impact of a nuclear explosion in South Asia will be devastating, because imagine if it's dropped somewhere in the northern areas like Kashmir, etc. It will be an environmental disaster. Imagine if the ice begins to melt and there's flooding of rivers all over India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I mean, these countries could drown. Depends on where the bomb is exploded. It will cause, some areas will be unlivable, etc. So it's going to be devastating. I don't know what the Europeans and the Westerners will think, because one bomb or two bombs is not going to generate refugees rushing towards the Europeans or not. Yes, the Western countries today want to make money in the Indian economy, so they want to engage with India and are putting pressure to stabilize so they can invest, etc. But I'm not very sure that they would be as, clearly, opening the door to nuclear use of nuclear weapons, nobody wants that. And so, yes, there'll be a lot of pressure, but if it happens, both the countries, whichever country uses the nuclear bomb first, will become a global pariah. I can guarantee you that. That government will lose recognition. Nobody will deal with that country. Nobody will have any diplomatic relations. That country will become worse than what Afghanistan is today. I can tell you that much. So countries thinking of using a nuclear weapon need to think very deeply. China is getting, yes, I saw, considering China's open support for Pakistan, should India call and join Quad? India has refused to form military alliances with everybody. Joe Biden tried for 4 years to make India a military ally during the Quad, and India refused. It talked about strategic autonomy as fundamentally important to its foreign policy, continuing with the non-aligned movement. But Pakistan in the past aligned much more closely with the US and benefited by getting F-16s and other weapons pattern tanks in 1965. And now it has aligned more closely with China and has benefited, because China is getting a lot of positives from this war, because if you look at the Western media that is covering it, there's a lot of talk about how Chinese-made air-to-air missiles have been effective, and how Chinese jet fighters have been effective in this war. And as a result of that, China's reputation as a military power is increasing because Pakistan is using Chinese technology. Even that interview that became very famous in Indian social media of CNN asking Pakistan's defense minister, what proof do you have that you have shot down 5 Indian uh, planes? In that interview, if you notice, the CNN host was more interested in what Chinese technology was used in those things. Uh, so so thank you for all of you for watching. We are coming to half an hour point, and I will take 2 or 3 more questions. What is up with you, Harminder Sandhu? You are here to attack me. Is that what this is constantly? Okay. I mean, this is what one of the, I guess, in India, they have these two rupee trolls, I guess. So for every nasty comment they make about me, they get 2 rupees. Ravindra, I will do another one in Hindi tonight. I wanted to do this because I also want my students to benefit from my discussion of this. Some of my students are writing papers on this, so that's why I'm doing this in English. Plus, a lot of policymakers in other parts of the world also watch Conversation, and since this is blocked now in India, to me the international audience has become much more useful. I will definitely share this video on my Indian channel also. But now that I've been forced to have 2 channels, so I will be doing a lot more Hindi on the other channel, and maybe keep this as English only. So in the last 2 3 days, I've noticed that viewership from UK, Germany, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and surprisingly Japan and Singapore has increased. So yes, there are lots of Indians watching. Thank you very much, using VPNs, and a lot of Indians in the diaspora are obviously able to watch. Uh, I don't know, Goswami, your question of is JF-17 better than Rafales? Uh, but if the reports are true that it was shot down in a dogfight, look, one of the things is that the PL-15 is a pretty long-range missile. It's a 90-mile missile. So it's not a skill of the pilot anymore that makes you succeed. It's who has the longer range. So if you're fighting a jet fighter, that's why several years ago the US had offered a special F-16 to India. If I'm not mistaken, it was F-21, a special version of F-16, where India wanted a very long range air-to-air missiles. So, for example, in Operation Sindoor, Indian Air Force did not cross the border. They did not go into the Pakistani airspace. They just went up in the Indian airspace, and they shot all the missiles and the drones from that place. From it's basically air to surface missiles and attacks. They're called loitering munitions, and the longer the range, the better. So one strength of the PL-15 is that it's about it's self-guided radar control. It has its own radar and has about 90 miles or more, up to 100-mile range. So even if it did hit Rafale, it's not the plane's superiorities or the pilot's skills. It is the weapons that they are carrying. So if Rafale was carrying a PL-15, or PL-15E is what China sells. The PL-15 is the original one that China has an even bigger range of more than 120 miles. So if Rafale was carrying that, then it would have shot down Pakistani jets before the Pakistani jets could shoot it down. So we have moved into an era of, yes, there are reports that India has shot down 1 F-16 and maybe 2 J-17s. JF-17s. So that is the reports, but it hasn't been confirmed by Pakistan or there is no independent confirmation. Sometimes I think the Indian media is very energetic and overexcited, so they may be spreading this information. We have yet to hear from the Indian government make the announcement. So if the Indian government makes the announcement that it shot the F-16, then it will be more credible. Oh yes, I to Abby, your comments are like this is a new normal. India has done something phenomenal. It has hit many targets. In the first strike itself, in the Sindoor, it hit many targets. Yes, they were mostly terrorist infrastructure, according to India, but they hit them deep into it, the heart of Pakistan, which is Punjab, and all over Punjab, Bahawalpur, and all the other places they hit. So this is the new normal. If another attack happens, a terrorist attack, India is going to target something much more serious. It will be more escalatory, like the second one where they hit Lahore city, Gujranwala, Sialkot, and Rawalpindi. So India's drones have reached Rawalpindi, which is Pakistan's military headquarters. So yes, this is the new normal. And Pakistan has also crossed a new normal, firing on civilians in Punj. And if Pakistan's claim that it has shot down 3, 1, or 5 Indian jets, then it also raises the cost of similar actions. The question really is, which I didn't want to go there, but since some of you have asked, is will Pakistan also use more terrorist attacks as retaliation to this in the near future? I don't know. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and be alert. I will come back again. It's 3 o'clock my time here. I have to go to class now to teach, and so I will probably join you guys in 7 more hours. By then, there will be more clarity on the Rafale issue, I hope, and also on the F-16 that India claims it shot down. Hopefully, by then, we put an end to this escalatory ladder. Donald Trump is celebrating the deal with UAE, so maybe he's a bit distracted on the tariff side of it. But I hope that that the international community puts pressure on both countries to stop. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and then share this video with your friends and your socio-political network. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Take care.